Do you enjoy tarot? Do you enjoy tabletop RPGs? Well, then you have come to the right video because I am showing off my latest Kickstarter, the Sefirot game and tarot deck. Hi everyone, I am Brittany, the Cosmic Lunar Soul. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back to all my subscribers. I'm unboxing a tarot deck, a game board, and then I have so many other goodies down here, and I'm just super excited to talk about them. So I'll go over the Kickstarter. I'll have timestamps below if you want to skip around, skip around. If you got this board game, let me know in the comments, and if you've played it already, totally let me know. This is the second edition of the Sefirot game and deck. It came out a few years ago, I believe, and I backed this back in September of last year, and it just got in. So I kickstarted the game and deck together for about €75, and then it came with some artwork, which is really pretty. It's I guess like a mini poster. There's nothing really on it. And then I decided to get the rule book. This is €59. And then I decided to support even further and go ahead and get the Sewers and the Stars zine, and this one was €19. I'm going to open the zine first, then we'll kind of get into the deck and then the box and the rule book. All right, let's get into it. So here is the zine. I got it all opened up. This actually is like an abbreviated version of the game book, I believe. It goes through, so this is an introduction from the creator, or from someone, James Patton, and then it goes into like the characters and classes, the way of the candle, the way of the coin, the swindler, and then goes through just some of these things. I think it's supposed to be just like an abbreviated, quick grab and reference kind of book. I don't know what I thought it was going to be. I think I was hoping it was going to be more like kind of like a comic, so to speak, where it talks about, the lore and all of that, and there's a little bit more artwork, but I think it's just it's more of a quick guide to the game. Here we have the deck. This is the second edition of the Spheres of Heaven Tarot based off of the Sefirot. It says it's an 80 card deck and guidebook, so I'm very excited to see some of these extra cards. This is by Elliot Baum, hopefully I'm not going to butcher these names, but George Hobmeyer, and Viv Tanner, and James Patton. And this was produced by Hay House. So very excited to check this out. Hay House makes exemplary boxes. There's a quote on the inside: "Don't resist the call of the void." Let's pull the guidebook out and the cards. And you can see some more artwork here as well. And overall, pretty lovely box, and I didn't expect anything less from Hay House. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the details a little better. There's a few embossed elements. The words are all embossed and the border is embossed. It's hard to kind of tell all of that, but no foiling on the box, but it's the same embossing on the entire sides, and then the back is flat and just has the standard information. It says the deck retails for $25 US or $34 Canadian. But if you're familiar with Hay House at all, they do regular sales. So just sign up for their newsletter so you can check out when they have the latest sales and what's on sale. The guidebook is pretty simple, actually, in terms of like frills, in terms of color and artwork and stuff like that. It goes through, for the table of contents, it touches on the realms of the Sefirot, the spheres of heaven tarot, the emergence of tarot, the hidden isle of Dioscoria, and card spreads, and then it gets into the cards. So this is like lore, obviously. Lore about like how the deck and the game came to fruition, how it became a thing. Um, and then how the tarot integrates into that, which is kind of cool. It's nice to understand the behind the scenes, and this describes the lore of like the setting that this universe or this game takes place in, the tarot takes place in. And then we go into the spreads. Simple 1-card spread, 2-card spreads. Really just describes what you can do with a 2-card spread. It doesn't really give you actual spreads. Same, it looks like with the 3-card spread. And then we get into the cards. So it explains the information about major arcana, and then we get into the card meanings. Pretty low frills in the grand scheme of guidebooks. It's definitely not one I would personally like reach out for. Let me skip ahead to the minor arcana. This is the wands. It's very, very short. It kind of gives quick like key phrases or keywords. But I enjoy books that have a little bit of this flowery stuff and then explicitly has the upright and reverse keywords. And then I'd like to, and I wish this had it, but I guess it's a little agnostic of the game, but I wish it had like gamification in here, but I'm assuming all of that stuff is in the rule book. I don't know. I just think it's a little bit of a, it's a set, so why not? Alrighty, we have the cards here. I'm going to zoom in even more, and let's go ahead and do our flip through. So I pulled these out because they're unique. So we have our lovers card. So we have our quote unquote traditional one. What I mean is like the standard like man woman. But I like that they mixed up the races here. And then we have on this side, this is our sorry it's so bright. I have to fix my camera. But I think you guys can see it well enough. This is two men here, so they don't have two women in this, so this would just represent any same-sex couple. And then we have this one, which I think is also fairly unique, more of a polyamorous type thing, not necessarily limited to three, but it could represent a polyamorous situation. So you can mix and match the lovers cards based off of the people that you're reading for. You could leave them all in and have your own method of how you manage that. And then I wanted to talk about this card. This is a judgment card and they renamed it. It's the only renamed card in the deck. And I just find that odd. It's a strange choice. Um, I don't, I don't know. Just leave it as judgment. I'm also fairly particular, I think, when it comes to renamed cards. Just because it needs to make sense, in my opinion. This deck, if you noticed, is very much a pip deck. The minors you can see are pips, or unillustrated pips to be more specific, but generally people just will say pip deck. It insinuates that there is little to no imagery on the card, and most of it is just focused on, what it is. So this is the Six of Wands, and you see six wands. There's a little bit more imagery involved in this deck, but still has a very Marseille-ish kind of feel, especially when you get into like this card and some of the swords, for instance, kind of had a very Marseille kind of feel. But I will say that I think it works well for it being a deck focused on a game, so that way it doesn't take away from the overall play of the game. But it is just something that I noted. It has a very Marseille feel, but it's clearly still following a bit of the Rider-Waite system, because strength is still 8 and justice is still 11 in Marseille, and I think Thoth as well. Honestly, I don't really know much about Thoth. They're swapped. So let's go ahead and talk about the artwork in general. It kind of has this sketchy art nouveau-ish sort of style, but I don't, I didn't study art, so I'm not quite sure what things are called, just kind of going off general reference. But I do like this almost like pencil-y look to the artwork. I don't hate it. I do just wish it was carried through to the minors, just personal preference. But I bought it knowing exactly what I was getting, so it's not like I was led astray or anything. The cardstock is beautiful. It's this semi-matte, like coated matte finish, not sticky at all, like right out the gate. It was so easy to work with. Little chunky in that it doesn't want to fan very well, but a lot of new decks kind of do that. So let's go ahead and see how it shuffles though. Yeah, it is still a little on the like chunky side. It's not sticky. It's chunky. And generally new decks just require some shuffling and breaking in. I have to say it throws me off that the titles here are at the top. I thought I accidentally reversed my deck for a second. Oh, let's talk about the backs of the cards. They are not reversible on the back. Very, very close, but you can tell, like, if you look at it in any length of time, that the image, especially the snake here, is flipped. But it's not so much so like, if you like to fan out and pick intuitively, you would have to be paying way too close attention, I feel like. But it is something to keep in mind, because I think some people find backs of the cards important. So we have our shuffle. The deck's a little thick, so it's a little hard for me to get a bridge with my small hands. But there we go. There we go. It's not totally unmanageable. And I think as it breaks in a little bit more, oh, even then, let's see how that has helped break the deck up. Still a little chunky, but not as bad as it was before. All right, I like it. I like it. Let's go on and look at the rule book. This book is huge. Let me zoom out a little. Okay. It barely wants to fit in frame. It feels amazing. Kind of has this textured rose petal finish. That's the word I'm looking for, rose petal finish. So this is the book. The bottom might get a little cut off here. Sorry, I have only but so much space. The table of contents, so setting up everything, how to use the book, goes into running the game, overall game rules, characters, and classics. The zine is definitely a like pocket quick reference version of this book, now that I'm seeing it. The cycle of play, advice for seers, alternate play modes. So this is a seerless mode, merciful mode, solitaire mode. This is meant to be played with 1 to 2 people, so you can do solo style or play with a partner. The cities of I want to always say Discordia for some reason. Dioscoria or Dioscora. I don't know where to put my emphasis. The cities of the age, magical creatures, and then tables and divination tools. So just going through, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I have some exploring to do. I'm very new to incorporate, and I'm actually very new into tabletop RPG in general. But if you saw my video of the solo play I did with the Citadel Oracle deck, then I'm not like totally brand new, but this is a whole different style. I love how illustrated it is, and the pages are the those coated pages that smell really good. This would make a really good coffee table book. So I'll just kind of read some of the things. I'm not going to go through everything, obviously. I just want to flip through so you guys can see the books. But here we go with skills. Swords would represent wit and strength and applying your mental abilities. So this is for skirmishes, convincing people, and studying. Then we have wands, which represents creativity, passion, and magic. So this is for like unleash, like brutal fighting moments, perform, like singing or acting or whatever. And then channeling. So this is like sensing magic. And then we have cups, which represents subtlety, emotion, and conversation. We have slips, so this is like stealth mode, soothe, mingle, so socializing. And then finally we have pentacles, which represents exchange, appraising, and attention to detail. So there's finesse, like lock picking, tinkering, stuff like that. We have bargain and survey, which is just scouting and gathering information. So this, if you're familiar with any tabletop RPGs, this is literally like your I guess this is like your oracle, your DM book. I don't know. If I'm using the wrong words, guys, let me know. I should probably find a group that does TTRPGs, so that way I at least understand the mechanics. I've watched people play, but I've never actually done it. I do have to say though that I like I like the level of world building, right? So this is the second edition. This whole release is the second edition, but this still goes at it from the idea that you don't know anything about this world. And I think that based off of what I'm seeing as I skim through, there's so much room to expand upon this. So each time you play, you can like if you're playing with someone else, you guys can decide how you want to switch things around. Here we get into character creation. This is actually my favorite part of RPGs in general, like whether they be tabletop, which I said I haven't done, but I've watched. I enjoy that part. And also I have played like RPG video games. The character de- design development is all my favorite part. So I really look forward to this. You know what I wish they had? I mean, and obviously you can Google it and use whatever, but since this is like a whole book, I really wish they had uh like a character design sheet that you can like take a picture of or something. Or I say that, but there's a PDF version that everybody got. You can just print that one page and then create your designs, because there's a lot of like, go to the core self section and go to the burden section, go to the ideal section. And it would have been cool if there was just like a sheet that was like page 1, page 2, and it would have those sections all in it. If you use my idea, credit me, Sefirot team. Alrighty. Um, let's skip around. It goes through some of the other characters. I just love the designs here. The artwork's so unique. I feel like if you guys have followed my channel, or if you hang out with me on like Discord and stuff, you'd probably think, oh, she would hate these. This is not going to be up her alley at all. But I actually quite love it. In a strange way, which is why I wish, even though I knew what I was getting to, why I wish the minors had been illustrated. Just more artwork to enjoy. So the book, as you can see, does also come with 2 ribbon bookmarks. So you can mark your pages in here if you're DMing or something like that. But this definitely requires a little bit of a like sit down and read through. All right, let's get into the star of the show, which is the game. Here is the box. It is foiled. It's hard to tell because everything's sort of shiny, but it is slightly foiled. This is marketed to ages 14 and up, and this is by Cause of Creations. The folks that I mentioned on the deck, I think they're all part of the Cause of Creations brand. Probably they have so many other products too, so it's probably just all under it's all like the same people doing different projects. All right, we have our rule book, again, table of contents. This talks more, this is like any board game that you have. It talks about the cards, where that fits in, and then the board games, the double-sidedness of the game, player markers. This is how you play by yourself. And then this gets into the deep dive of playing with the game. So it breaks down the major arcana, the minors, and then gives you a few examples over here. Here is the Lover's Discourse. This is a cooperative mode for 2 people. I love co-op games, so this is like being able to do it by myself, but also being able to pull a person in and have a 2-player mode. And I think it's only supposed to be, it claims around 60 minutes, but I always add like, it's probably like 90 minutes. So it goes through the gameplay for the 2-player co-op. And then we get in the competitive mode for 2 people. So this is called the Warring Planets, competitive mode for 2 players. And then again, goes through the rules for that. So there's so many different ways to play. Oh, so, okay, cool. This is even more exciting. Know Thyself is for a single person, solitaire style gameplay. And then we get back into another player mode. This is more adventure mode for 1 player. I didn't realize that it had, and then has all the encounters and how the game ends. Goes into the images of the cards with quick, keywords. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So there are 3, there are 3 2-player modes and 2 1-player mode. 2 1-player modes. Let's get into what's in the box. So we have the board here. We have a mini version of the deck, and then we have this coin. It says all is permitted if no harm is done. That's what it says on both sides. So this is like a sleeping moon and then a sleeping sun. I believe there's stuff under the box. Oh, maybe not. So I'm not going to do a full flip through of the mini deck. It's the same as the large one, but I will show you the size difference. So this is, I think I want to say this is a standard tin size. I've had some micro pockets before. I will open it up to see how the box is, though. Give me 1 second. So this is a standard tuck box, which I, would expect with a board game. I don't like these. I tear them up, something fierce. But, this is a little different. Let me go ahead and pull it out. So it has the pocket guidebook. Structurally kind of the same as the big one. It just has shorter descriptions. But still the same name of the card, key phrase, and then some flowery description. Still no actual keywords for upright and reverse. But this is actually glossy. You can see that shine there. So I don't think that this would tear up very easily, which is really good. The cards seem to be the same. It's very sticky. I think the gilding is getting to it. But let's look at the major. There's some high foiling or high gilding on this. So this is going to need a little bit of shuffling and breaking in. So we have I'm not going to go through the full flip through of it, but I'll go through the majors real quick. It still has the 3 different lovers. So nothing has been removed, it looks like, from this, from the mini, from the pocket. Very, very sticky. The gate is still renamed the gate. And then there's actually 2 extra cards here. This is the tree, and this is the abyss. So obviously, you guys, I can't fit this entire thing in the screen, but you can see the board game here. Artwork pretty much matches the artwork, art style rather, in the deck, but you can see it's double-sided, which is just so super cool. And then it does fold up nice and tight, so that's awesome as well. All right, let me clean up and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, this is the entire Kickstarter. It was a lot, so if you hung out to the end, thank you so much. I think I'm gonna do a dry run of this by myself. If you enjoy watching people do tarot TTRPGs, let me know and I'll record it. I'll probably record it anyway. Anyways, I really, really enjoyed this. I'm very excited to try it out. I've been waiting almost a year for it, so I'm definitely very excited. If you're excited, comment below. If you think of some interesting pairings with this deck, which I didn't do in this video, let me know as well. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a like, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.